Welcome everybody to Business Monday. I am Josh Fenton, CEO of GoLocal. It is the Small Biz Fuel Hour. We have Kathleen
Bellicchi.
from Bellicchi Biscotti.
Bellicchi's best biscotti.
Best Biscotti. Was there another company that
well,
had less good biscotti?
There's no one who has, well, they might have, yes. Everyone has less good biscotti than us, but Bellicchi's best biscotti is my first biscotti business. There are 3 more on deck.
Great. And birthed at Hope in Maine.
Yes.
An organization we love, kind of the incubator to emerging food companies here in Rhode Island. We've probably had, 20 or 30 of the graduates on. Remarkable success is disseminating out of that facility. They help you think through the business model.
Yes.
They help you train, packaging, marketing. Walk us through that experience a little bit.
Great. Well, I arrived at Hope in Maine in a blizzard, and there was an absolute packed audience in their demonstration kitchen, an SRO crowd. I stood in the back, and I listened to what that Hope in Maine was, this kitchen incubator. This was in February of 2015. Oh, it was a number of years ago. Incubators was not a word you heard, and everyone was talking about artisanal.
Right.
There was nothing about GoLocal, it was all artisanal. So we really kind of settled down to really provide, I think, more value. And a great deal of that, understanding that value and promoting it, has been Hope in Maine. Both Lisa Waterman, the whole staff there, just giving so many people. At any given time, there are 60 or 70 companies that all prepare their products at Hope in Maine, and then some are even have national distribution, and many move on quickly to co-packers or others. I've done the math on my business, and until I'm baking 7 days a week, 6 to 8 hours a day, I'm staying where I am.
Good
for this line of product.
So you've gotten this product up, you've got it commercialized, you're in distribution, you're at retailers in New England, Whole Foods, East Side Market. How did you do it? How did you take the first round of biscottis? Did you walk in the door and knock and say, look what I've got, have a bite?
Yes, I did. I went to Federal Hill. Talk about, I don't know, Coles to Newcastle, or I don't know, beer to Munich, I'm not sure. But walking up Federal Hill and coming in with Bellicchi's best biscotti, and everyone was very polite.
Constantino's?
No, the big restaurant on the top of the hill.
Canteen?
Avenda?
Avenda?
Yeah.
Is that what you went first?
I think so. Anyway, they were all very polite, and yes, we'll get back to you. And I thought, this is great. I'm going to blow up all over Federal Hill. Of course, they never responded. And then actually my first customer is Whole Foods.
That's great.
Which very connects to how my business started. And I had baked biscotti for 53 years ago. My mother-in-law taught me how to bake biscotti, the almond fennel orange. We always baked it for holidays, family events. And my husband's specialty was to turn it on the second bake. And sadly, he was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's in his 50s. And even after he couldn't do many things, he could still turn biscotti. And we baked a lot more than we could eat. Also, from becoming a brilliant engineer, putting the first atomic clock into space, degrees from MIT, Cornell, BU, Eric was just fading away. His very last job was at Whole Foods in Bedford. And he would, with customer service, he'd keep the carts in the parking lot clear and all. And they said, Kathleen, we'll keep him as long as we can. And one day they came to me and they said, I'm sorry, we just can't keep him anymore. But anyway, for all of Whole Foods and everything, I love them for that. So for them being my first customer. And I was in the bulk bin. So, which was not, they said, it turns over every few hours. Well, of course it doesn't. And
right.
Biscotti, the key to biscotti is that it's crisp and crunchy.
Yeah.
And if you leave it out, it isn't. So I worked very hard to get merchandising within Whole Foods. So then I was on the bottom shelf with frosted footballs and baseball mitts cookies on top. That didn't work. Then I finally got to a chip clip that's right as near the hot food line, and they're ordering every other week.
That's great.
So I've really got some brand traction I would say after 4 years, I'm really beginning to get some brand traction in New England.
Congratulations. That's just the beginning, though. You've got a panettone product.
Yeah.
That's out for this season. Obviously, it's going to be a short, hungry Christmas with the late Thanksgiving. Are you optimistic about how that product's going to move?
Yes. I had 2 markets going yesterday, and we made, 70 on Friday night, and we've sold already a third of them.
That's right.
So we'll be back in the bakery quickly to produce more. It's absolutely delicious. Can I give a plug for my biscotti, Josh?
100.
Okay. So it is not your supermarket biscotti. It's not yeast-based. It has a regional cranberry that's tart, and sultanas with a hint of almond taste, and it's more cake-like. And you can just slice it and serve it.
It's not that kind of panettone that you can throw through a glass window.
No, absolutely. Well, it's more cake-like.
Yeah.
It's those great big loaves. It's all yeast, and they come from Italy. They have a shelf life of 2 years. Go look at the ingredient list, then look at our ingredient list.
Great.
Clean and simple, and delicious.
2020 is your breakout year, 2020?
It is.
And you've got, can we talk about all
Yes.
3 of them? 3 different initiatives going on. Let's start mass distribution, the
Okay.
potential of
Yes.
big box, big rollout. What's that mean for you?
Okay, so a big box store approached me and asked me to bake biscotti for them. And over the past year, I have developed a process. So there's the difference. It's Bellicchi's biscotti. It's not Bellicchi's best biscotti. It's clean, but we're not using cage-free eggs. We're not using, Cabot butter, and we will still use King Arthur flour. I don't
Right.
think my product would work without it. But it's just a very simple, clean product it'll just be one flavor per product. And it is hopefully ready for distribution for rollout by this Easter.
That's
Look
great.
for it in your home goods store. Gorgeous packaging.
Great. Second up is?
CBD biscotti, which is the medicinal biscotti, and I've teamed up with a company called Azuca, A-Z-U-C-A, I think they're out of Colorado, who have developed a water-soluble CBD that acts quickly and distributes evenly in a viscous substance, I think is what you would say. And I've tested it out with 2 people who have cancer, and after chemo, they said, well, I wasn't ready to go dancing, but I felt even. I wasn't nauseous, which is huge.
That's great.
And then another company, the Fully Baked company out of Taunton, run by Philip Smith, and I'm forgetting Jenny's last name, and they have a THC operation. They were both Iraqi and Afghanistan war veterans, and both had PTSD, began making gummies, and they have expanded this business and are using our rented space in the old Reed and Barton silver factory. And they are planning to put in a bakery where I could bake. My grandmother name is Nona, so it'll be Nona the Stona's Cannabiscotti, THC.
Did you come up with that? Did you?
No,
come up with that?
my son-in-law, David Fleischman.
Bad punnery dominates the entire biscotti industry.
A Cannabiscotti, I mean, how good does it get?
Can you handle this level of growth? I mean, it's always, be careful what you wish for.
Yes.
You have nice distribution now, you're growing organically, you're expanding. Now all of a sudden a big box comes knock on the door. They are unforgiving, they're
Yes.
tough. We want it now. When we don't want it, we don't want it now. And then 2 other initiatives. How do you manage that level of growth simultaneously?
Hopefully. No. Well, each one is sort of a different channel, and I have a group that's working with me on the marketing and how to get the CBD out, which will mostly be an online business.
Great.
So I have a company that does SEO optimization, and they will help me with this, build out the CBD.
Right.
And the big box, I borrowed some money and friends and family, and I'm also ready to go with that. And then finally, the THC, I really don't know. It's still very vague at this point. But I feel confident that I've got the product. I've tested it. I haven't had anyone who doesn't say, this is great. So the product is there. You would think that would be the hard part. It's the easiest piece. And now to actually get it from, my heart, this wonderful, delicious product to these outlets is a daunting and exciting task.
You worked with Commerce, with CIC, to get
Yes.
some funding, which has allowed you more flexibility to be able to adapt to these opportunities.
Yes.
How was that process? And feel free to excoriate them on any failure by them. We always try
Okay.
and get the dirt out of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I've only got one piece of dirt on them, but we'll start with the good stuff. Right from the start, I worked with Buck Harris, who was everyone has been so helpful. And then Joe, I apologize, I can't remember your last name, but he also works out of New Haven. I think he works with Buck, but he will call me like every month or every 6 weeks. Kathleen, how are you doing? He sent me an email with someone else. He had picked up a new customer in Stonington, Connecticut. Tom Piacenza has this wonderful coffee shop there, and now they're taking my biscotti. So they're even generating business for me. So
That's
that
great.
has been great. The only downside is you have to write checks for them every month, and they send you, there's lots of paper and handwork, and I keep saying, one of these months I'm going to miss a payment. I've got so many bells and whistles to make sure I don't miss that
Put
payment.
it all online.
Yeah,
Put it
so
all online.
exactly. So that's the only thing I would say. But what a pleasure to work with, and it's really enabled me to grow and really feel confident that someone has my back and believes in me, which in a small business is huge.
Did you think when you started 4 years ago, you would be here?
No. When I look back, I think, what was I thinking? I don't know why it's a very labor-intensive business. And I see that Bellicchi's Best Biscotti, although a dear, beautiful, delicious business, will never, it's just too labor-intensive to be able to scale successfully, permanently. I'm still on a roller coaster, although eking out, a little bit of a...
Revenue.
Yeah. I mean, money above and beyond cost, but I still need my day job to do it, which you just can't live like that. So these 3 other businesses are really an opportunity for me to grow a business that I'm 73. In 3 years or so, I would love to retire. I still want to live on a hilltop in Italy. I have a brother who lives over there, so I still want to live there. I would learn how to play piano. I speak Italian, all kinds of things. So on to other things. But I don't know that I could leave it at the same
So Kathleen,
time.
I think you're in the top tier of my favorite entrepreneurs. We've had about, on Business Monday, 100, 150, and it's just a great story. It's this passion. I always say it to everybody that I talk to is, listen, when I have it, right? So
Yeah.
I love what I do. I do it 7 days a
Clearly.
week. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. 99% of the time, it's not work. It's just pure passion. It's
Yeah.
huge opportunity. And as it grows and develops, it gets more rewarding and more enjoyable. The idea of you starting this at 69 years of age and to be able to grow it and get distribution, it's just a great lesson for everybody who has had another career and said, oh, I always wanted to X. It's not easy. It's unforgiving. You'll put your hand in your head in your hands a million times, but it is that level
It's
of, I
true.
did this, and now the big boys are coming knocking on my door.
Right. Well, Hope in Maine, I would not be here without Hope in Maine. I was looking for places to rent, and everything that I needed to start was at Hope in Maine. So without them, I really wouldn't be
Kathleen,
here.
thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you,
It's a
Brian. What a pleasure.
It was great having you
Thank
on.
you.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. No Money Man today. He is off and traveling. We'll be back tomorrow. Kate Nagel is all over the place, and I think she's over at Commerce RI actually this afternoon on a board meeting, and maybe over with the Fed. I know our photographer Richard McCaffrey is over with the chairman of the Fed, who's at the Chamber of Commerce meeting this evening. Thanks everybody for tuning in.